great tension in Korean Peninsula. And North Korean ballistic missile launch is another strong provocation to South Korea. But in my view, tension is not something to avoid, but something to manage. Excessive tension on Korean Peninsula should be avoided, but this does not mean that concessions should be made against toward North Korea. There are two ways to manage tension. One is to accept the opponent's demand and make a compromise, and the other is to show that I am prepared for the opponent's provocation. During the previous administration, North Korea was accustomed to the formal response, which led to bad habit of Pyongyang. The current confrontation between two Koreas, or the United States and North Korea, is often described as a hard line versus hard line, which technically should be interpreted as a reasonable response to provocation, in our view.
Yeah, and perhaps the current South Korean leader and his government is trying to change all that. But maybe that China and Russia have a point here, because we've been in this vicious cycle and it's not really conducive. I'm talking about the UN Security Council meetings and resolutions and sanctions to problem solving on the Korean Peninsula. So do you see the merit of the UN Security Council in dealing with North Korea's nuclear program?
We already predict the response of the China and the Russia in the United States Nations Security Council. Recently, China has expressed its position for Seoul and Washington to respect North Korea's legitimate security concern regarding North Korea's provocation, including the ballistic missile launch. China expressed a similar position at the United States-China Summit in November last year. We also have seen similar responses from Russia. As long as China and Russia take this approach, it is difficult to expect a constructive law of Beijing or Moscow in easing tension and the denuclearization in North Korean Peninsula. Now, Korea is the process of revising the past wishful thinking or the excessive expectation on the China's or Russia's law. I hope that two states will be able to play a minimum role, such as exerting influence on extreme situations, such as the recurrence of all-out war on the Korean Peninsula. That's our minimum expectation.